I'm going to start this video with William Shakespeare's speech, All the World's a Stage. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts. He acts being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwilling to go to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in the fair round belly, with good capon lind, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide, for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childish and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. That's really the perfect description of where we are at right now, especially politically in the United States. I am a United States citizen. I was born and raised in the United States, and there are a lot of significant changes taking place right now in our political system. A lot of shakeups, a lot of tumultuous energy, a lot of chaos energy. This is for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons is we have had, back on February 22nd of 2022, United States entered into its first Pluto return. We are still in that energy. Pluto returns bring big transformation. So I've been saying it since I think I did a energy reading, prediction reading, the end of 2020 for 21, when Biden was originally elected, and I said there's not going to be a second term. His personal astrology is not good for this year. And, you know, he was the sitting president of the United States during the United States' first Pluto return. So it signaled to transformation. It signaled to big change in government. What is also highly important and highly influential of this time is the fact that we have Pluto currently retrograding, and it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn for the last time in our lifetimes. And then it's going to move into the sign of Aquarius. Pluto in Capricorn is like, Capricorn rules government, Capricorn rules corporations, Capricorn rules big business. So it is like a transformation or big change to the power structure and the foundations of power. So we are in a time, astrologically, energetically, spiritually, financially, in every sense of the way of change. We are in that time of change. We are in that corridor of change. Equally, again, personal astrology, and I'll do a separate video where I'll kind of dive into the astrology of both Biden and Trump, because the astrology for Trump is not good either, right? Harris, but I don't think that she's gonna have a long-standing anything, if anything does occur with her. I'm just not picking up that energy. I know other people are seeing it and saying it. I'm not, and so I have to go by what I'm seeing and saying and what I'm feeling energetically as far as like predictions and potentials. All right, so I'm gonna say, for entertainment purposes only, my opinion, no fact, for entertainment purposes only for this video. So today's events, today is the 21st, full moon in Capricorn, the second full moon in Capricorn we've had this year, because the first one was on June 21st. Again, full moons are a completion of a cycle, a completion of an energy. And Capricorn rules government. Capricorn rules, you know, that energy of politicians. And so it is not a coincidence that he would announce that he's withdrawing and stepping down on this day at this time. Equally, I will say this, and again, for entertainment purposes only, as I've been saying, he was not going to get a second term. I never saw a second term in the energy. And energetically, if he did not voluntarily withdraw, he would have been relieved of his position. Infer what you will from that statement, but that was a possibility. It was a potential here, because there was not going to be a second term. And so this is, you could say, like the gentlest outcome for him. It was just to withdraw, was just to step back. With that said, last week, and this is how the energy shifts and changes so much, and this is why we are in a space where all the world's a stage. There are games upon games and levels upon levels. I don't pick a side, because number one, to me, again, entertainment purposes only, my opinion, no fact, my intuition, the left side and the right side are just different sides of the same bird. It's different wings of the same bird. So if you are a sovereign being, if you are stepping into your sovereignty, if you are stepping into a space of moving beyond duality and ascending, you're not going to vote for the bird. You're beyond. The consciousness has to move beyond it. Okay. That doesn't mean that like you are completely free to have a side. It's like baseball or football. Like, people have their favorite teams. People have their favorite players. Like, do you, all right? It's just not something I participate in. I did not vote the last election. Trump was supposed to win the last election until right before the election. That's when the energy shifted. And I want to talk about that here in this video, because we're in a totally different, this is a different game, okay? This is Game of Thrones. This is House of the Dragon. This is a different game. We are not in the same game we were playing before, back 4 years ago, okay? And so he was gonna win the election, and it was right when he got COVID, when Trump got COVID back in 2020, right after they did that terrible debate. I didn't watch the debate, but I heard about it. He got COVID. That's when the timeline shifted and Biden won the election, like literally like a week later. And it's not so much that again, I am of the belief, I come from the belief and the position that whoever is meant to be in that position is placed in that position. Like, it doesn't matter how they got there. they were anointed to be in that position, or handpicked to be in that position for whatever reason. And again, I don't understand all the reasons. I'm just an intuitive, I'm just an energy reader. And I always say this, Biden didn't necessarily win the election. Trump lost that election. But him losing that election, and even though he's had a lot of tumultuous events and all that stuff, again, I take no position. I'm not team either. I'm team highest outcome for humanity. I'm team liberation, getting us free from giving our power away. But anyways, I think it's been a good thing for Trump. And I said this again in a video that I was trying to find it, but it only let me go back 2 years of my videos. And this was before 2022 that I did this video, where I talked about, like, it kind of helped him to, like, restructure, reorient, and, like, rebrand in a way. Even though he's the same Trump, he's like, the energy is more serious, is more I feel like he's taking things more seriously this time around, energetically, with certain moves that he's made and certain things that have taken place for him. And so because of that, and I said this in this video that I did a couple years back, there's a lot of energy pooling around him. And whenever you have a pool of energy around you, whether it's positive or negative, it kind of, like, energetically lifts you up, in the sense of, when we had the election, United States election back in 2016 between Trump and Hillary Clinton, you know, everybody was like, Trump's gonna lose, Trump's gonna lose. And I was like, no, Trump's gonna win. Everybody, whether you love him or hate him, everybody's talking about him. Everybody's directing their attention and energy towards him. And that, from an energetic standpoint, lifts you up. Whether you're loved or hated, if all eyes are on you, it gives you a sense of, it gives you power. It gives you power. It is a powerful position to be in. All right. And so I knew he was going to win that 2016 election. In 2020, he was going to win, but there was a lot of debacles with everything in the handling of COVID. And then when he got COVID, that's when it kind of, like, that's when the timeline shifted. All right. And then the energy started pulling around Biden. Last week's events with Trump, the energy pulled around him. It was a big event. He walked away unscathed. He gave maybe one of the most, like, iconic photo moments of history. That photo of him after that event last weekend on July 13th, where he's saying fight and he's got his fist pumped and he's, like, raw, ready to go, is, like, the most iconic boss move that he could have ever made. Last weekend, I was like, Trump's got the election in the bag. Today, everything's changed. Energetically, everything's changed. Democrats just pulled an Uno reverse. And again, I don't pick a side. I'm just here, I'm like, with the popcorn, watching it all play out, like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is crazy. We live in crazy times. But they did. Like, Biden stepping back. Again, Biden might support Kamala. There's other people who support Kamala, but no, I don't see her as the nominee, or I don't see her as the person that actually gets elected for president. There's a different energy. There's a dark horse coming in. Again, this is Game of Thrones. There are levels upon levels. There are games upon games that are being played at this moment. This taking place today was actually the worst thing that could have happened for Trump. For those of you who are Team Trump, I just got to read the energy, and I'm telling you the truth. This was the worst thing that could have happened for Trump. Because there's nothing as powerful as the energy and element of mystery. Now, everybody's eyes and energy and attention, again, where the attention goes, the energy flows, and it gives a sense of power, are on the Democratic Party, what's going to happen, who's going to be the nominee, what's going to happen with Kamala. Like, this literally was a shift of power towards that party and that side. Again, I'm just an observer of the game, right? You and me at this level, we're just observers of the game. But if the Democrats wanted to win, like really want to win right now, what they will do is they will find a candidate who is a younger man, not young, old enough to be taken seriously, but younger than Trump. So someone in their 40s or 50s, someone who's married and has a stable marriage and relationship aesthetically, someone who's aesthetic, someone who's charismatic, someone who is good looking, someone who is very intelligent and doesn't pop off at the mouth, like someone who's like kind of like golden boy energy. If they could find like a Tom Brady-esque type, and I'm saying Tom Brady for the aesthetic, the way he looks, or what's that actor, Glenn Powell, I think his name is. Like, he's a very conventionally attractive guy. I don't personally find him attractive, but I remember I just watched him on an interview on something, and I was like, damn, his energy is like attractive. Like, it's not his looks that I was like, oh, it was his energy. Like, they will, if they want to win right now, and they have, the ball is literally all in their court, they're either gonna fumble it or they're gonna like blow it out of the park, and it's bad for Trump. So if the Democrats want to win, they'll find a golden boy. They'll find their golden ticket. A politician who's pretty clean, maybe some religious, like maybe like Catholic, to move the conservatives that don't like Trump over to the Democrat side. Someone who is like pro-women in a way that Trump isn't, to get all the girlies, someone that girls would want to be with. Because the thing about America, as an American saying this, but we are literally like the most vain, egotistical, and arrogant country. We love aesthetically pleasing, so we love like attractive people. And we love to sell the American dream, even though it's BS, like it doesn't really exist anymore, but we still love to sell it. Like, this is a possibility. So if you get a guy who's like, who can mark all those boxes, right? It's over for Trump as far as like becoming president of the United States again. I'm just saying, just energetically. If I were at the top of that pyramid making moves right now, that's the move. That's exactly the move I would make. if I wanted to secure the election and the president of the United States. Here's the other thing. 2 years back, when I was looking at the energy for this time that we're in, and the elections, again, I didn't see Kamala Harris. I did see a man, but I couldn't see his face. I couldn't see anything above the neck. He was wearing a suit. He was being inaugurated. He had a younger stature, a younger build, a more fit build than Trump. So there definitely is like a dark horse candidate that we aren't aware of yet, but we're going to be aware of soon. Equally, for entertainment purposes only, if that does happen, Kamala will be removed as well. Could be a scandal that happens where she has to step down, where she has to resign. Could be some sort of accident. I haven't looked at her astrology at all, but again, energetically, if I'm looking at energetics, right, just from an energetic standpoint, everyone who's been president of the United States since I was like aware of politics. So I'm going to go back to Bill Clinton, because I was like a teenager, like in that era. And that's when I started to become more aware of politics, right? They all have this riz, I guess the kids call it riz, it's charisma, or like, it's like an it factor. They all have this it factor in their auric field. I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of like, I almost want to say star touched. Like, again, that's why I use the word anointed. Everyone who's been president has that energy, that aura around them. Kamala Harris just doesn't have it. Hillary Clinton didn't have it. Trump has it, but he can lose it if there's someone who has, if they can find someone else that carries it stronger than him. Bill Clinton had it. Whether you, again, this is not about the person. This is not about their actions. This is not about their connection. This is just about the energy. Bill Clinton had this aura about him, right? George W. Bush had an aura about him. If you compare Bush to Gore, Bush had an aura about him. If you go back and look at pictures of that election in 2000, just by looking at the energy, looking at their pictures, you could tell Bush was going to win. Same thing when Bush ran again. I think he ran against John Kerry. John Kerry just didn't have that aura. Going forward, like Obama, like him or hate him, he had that aura, especially at the beginning, especially when he was first elected. There was just an energy around him. Again, I want to call it like star touched. That's I don't know how, it's like the extra shiny aura. Trump had it in 2016. He lost it right around the time of the election in 2020, and that's why he lost the election. Trump has it right now, but this event totally shifted timelines and shifted everything. Just like we shifted timelines last week, we just shifted timelines again today. Okay? And that's why this energy is different than 2020. It's different than any other time we've ever been in, because the timelines are continuously shifting and changing. I do feel again, entertainment purposes only, there is a dark horse coming into this election. Nobody really sees coming except for those at the tippy top that move the strings around, those playing the Game of Thrones, you know. They already got their golden boy, and I keep getting, it's a man. It's not Kamala Harris. It's not a woman. It's a masculine man who has that aura about him. They've got their person already that they want to put in. Does that person get in? It's a very strong possibility. But again, the timelines are continuously changing because the time is speeding up, because there's so much solar activity, because there's such a rising and influx of people waking up. And so anything could happen at this point. Sloan Bella said it best, where she's like, there may not be an election this November, which would be unprecedented, but it also energetically would make sense for the energy that we're currently in. We are in the midst of huge shifts and changes. We are in the midst of huge leadership shifts and changes. We are in the midst of everything kind of being different. And I think when I did that video, Technicolor, I did a video a few months back where I called it Technicolor. I think this is what Spirit was talking about. We're going to see things in Technicolor. We're going to see things in a completely different way. And so I'm being guided to tell you, expect the unexpected. Sit back and observe the spectacle is literally what they just said. Everything that's happening is divinely guided. Don't allow yourself to be too distracted with the theatrics of it. Again, the astrology for Trump is not very good, especially when we hit eclipse season. And that's where, again, he could really lose the election, or there could be some serious consequences for him. But things are shifting and changing in a big, big way. And so what's here today may not be here tomorrow. I'm being guided to tell you, don't pick a side. Just focus on the timeline that you want to create for yourself. I'm sitting here asking if there's anything else that wants to come through. And we'll pray for America. We'll pray for the highest outcome. We'll pray for the highest good of all. Continue to pray for your family. Continue to pray for the entire world, because there's a lot of changes on the horizon. Things might get messier, is what I'm being told to tell you too. Not just politically, but any big change, any massive change like this is going to change other things like financial markets. The other day, we just had that huge Microsoft issue, the outages, people were stranded. Not the best time to fly. If you are traveling, really use your discernment and ask if you're meant to travel by plane, is what I'm being told to tell you. Equally, we're just in for a wild ride between now and the end of the year. And the second part of this year is like Wild Wild West, Game of Thrones, like anything goes. It's kind of like a free-for-all of energy. If I get more information, I will share it. As the timelines shift and change, I will come on and make more updated videos. Things just feel strange. It's odd. It's an odd energy because it's like a different energy. I can't really say that it's good or bad. But things are going to get messier for sure. Because again, like Game of Thrones, like everybody's like fighting for the Iron Throne. Everybody's fighting for that POTUS spot. And it's going to get messier because this is the most opportune time for a power grab when there's a shift in power. All right. Stay grounded. Stay grounded. Stay balanced. Use your discernment. Keep your wits about you. Remember, all the world's a stage. And the men and the women are just merely players. Take care.